Alright, two battlers, you know what it is, JayDevin back at it with another Go Battle League video. So we are doing another 5 favorite teams video, which I did previously for Great League. However, since we're going to be getting towards the end of Ultra League pretty soon now, this video is going to be for my 5 favorite teams in the Ultra League. And we have spiced up, you know, what we're doing, I guess, on these videos a little bit. We are going to have an actual rating system for these. It's official. It's official. It's not a joke. This is not a drill. We have a rating system, 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best, of Bongo Pikachus. So, man, these teams, honestly, I like them all. So just like the previous upload I did like this for the Great League, they're not going to be ranked in any particular order. One I don't prefer over the other. I like them all. They're just like 5 favorite teams that I've seen and noticed and or heard of so far in the Ultra League. So the first one we're going to look at is this. Look at this. This is absolutely bonkers. This was a team that was suggested to Pogo King on his stream by a very skilled battler, goes by the name of Alpha Phoebe. I'll put the link for that either in the description below or up there. You can go ahead and take a look if you haven't seen that video. But this team is nuts, okay? A lot of people, for the most part, on an Ampharos are going to prefer Dragon Pulse so they can have that Giratina coverage. However, with the way this team is built, like this team is built kind of masterfully. This is like a mastermind team. You're not running Dragon Pulse. You're running Volt Switch, Thunder Punch, and then Focus Blast because you can punish the opens. You can already punish like an Articuno open, a Lapras open. You can punish a Registeel open. The worst cases scenario obviously would be if you see a Swampert open, for example, or if you see a Giratina open, for example, which, you know, those other opens in the negative matchups, even a Venusaur, like, you're going to have answers for those, and that's why they have the flexible swaps between the Ursaring and the Togekiss. So I think Venusaur is probably like the worst case scenario you want to see for this team. Like, it might be really rough to come back from seeing a Venusaur. Seems kind of iffy, right? But anyways, on the Ampharos, Volt Switch, Thunder Punch, and Focus Blast, Ursaring the standard Shadow Claw, Close Combat, and Play Rough, then Togekiss, the Charm, Ancient Power, and Flamethrower. Well, that team overall, again, I really, really love it. Obviously, it has a glaring weakness, but you can say that about any team for Go Battle League, right? Because it's a blind format. Unfortunately, we don't have a, you know, show 6, pick 3. So what do I give this? Of course, this is getting a 5 out of 5 for Bongo Pikachus, of course. Next team. All right, here's the next team. You already know it just by looking at it. You already know what this. You already know what the team is, dude. This is the Peng Ultra League line that he's been running and having success with overall, like as far as an anti-meta. So he is running a Charizard open with the Fire Spin, Blast Burn, and then Dragon Claw. And then he has swaps with Zangoose with Shadow Claw, Close Combat, Night Slash, and then the Shift Tree with the Snarl, Leaf Blade, and the Foul Play. So what I love about this team is every single one of these Pokemon are going to be extremely heavy hitters. Granted, the Zangoose you're going to want as a perfect, potentially best buddied for the battles when you go in for Go Battle League. And oh man, it's the same thing with Shift Tree. They both need to be perfect ideally because they both do max out underneath 2,500. So it is, you know, a pretty expensive team. Not a lot of people might actually have access to this team, but I don't think that's part of what makes it special. I think what really makes this special is the matchups that Peng has taken in mind against the meta as a whole when he's constructed this team. Like, he can answer everything with this team. There's nothing in the meta that he really can't answer. Even if, you know, somebody brings double water or ice and then a mud boy, for example, like, he can answer that. I really can't think of any immediate glaring weakness in this strategy rather than, you know, other than like open with a Swampert, for example. Then if somebody happens to bring like a Charmer they can swap into, that's like the worst case scenario for this team. And I almost never see that. Never see that. The team overall hits really hard and it hits really fast because all of these Pokemon have fast energy generating fast moves. I think the slowest out of the bunch is going to be Charizard, but Charizard can wall a lot of picks too. That's why he's opening with the Charizard. I mean, he already has put the upload for this updated team for Season 1 and Go Battle League in the Ultra League. Go ahead and check it out right there if you already have not. He ran this for the preseason. He ran like exactly the same thing, save for he had Snorlax in the place of Zangoose at the time, and I think it's just because he probably didn't have his Zangoose completed. But Caleb Peng done it yet again, man. This is absolutely nuts. Most of us can say if we could afford to run this team, like if I had the perfect Zangoose and I could afford it, I would 100% run this team. So enough said with that. 5 out of 5 Bongo Pikachus, dude. GG's. Let's go to the next team. Right, and the next team here, as you can see, is mine. Yes, indeed. It is my Lucario team. I love the team a lot. It performs very well against basically everything. For the most part, this specific team comp is, at the end of the day, this is what I had the most success with overall. Granted, running it this specific way was before the Ancient Power nerf. So that's why I stopped running it this way, because I had to try and adapt to the meta. And at this point, the team I'm running is completely different. But, reflecting before the nerf and the meta changes, this team was absolutely bonkers. I went on such a long winning streak. I think the longest I went undefeated, honestly, with this team was 12. I think a 12 win streak was the longest. Then we took 1 loss. Then we had like another 5 wins. Like, this team was really consistent for me from the 25 to 2600 range all the way up to the mid 2850s. Geez, why can't I say that? Like the 2850s closing in on 2900. So this team definitely closed that gap for me, and that's why I love it so much, because not only does almost nobody count on a Lucario lead, but also they really never count on the close combat. So it's, based on, I guess, unpredictability and just taking opponents off guard. And then I have the BBML with the Giratina, but then I also have Lapras to kind of tank and to be kind of a safe play if they end up putting a Swampert in the back or a Giratina of their own in the back, especially if they bring a Charmer, right? Because both Lucario and Giratina do not want to see a Charmer. So the worst case scenario is I would let one or both of them fall and then close with the Lapras. So yeah, I love that team. I love that team indeed. At the time, in that meta, the team gets 5 out of 5 Bongo Pikachus. Right now, with the meta changes, this team gets 0 Bongo Pikachus. It does not work. Right, the next team here is going to be kind of a throwback. I really like this team a lot. With the meta changes and everything that's happened and that we're seeing now, right, especially with the Armored Mewtwo, I'm not sure this team can quite cut it, but just like my team previously, during the time, this team was very, very powerful, and it still can be kind of a powerful team. So it's PokéAK's video that he uploaded with the Empoleon lead, Crobat, and then the Snorlax back in preseason. Yeah, the Empoleon lead can be super, super powerful. It can do work against basically everything. Like the worst case scenario is if they open up with a fighter, right? Like if I open up with Lucario, or if somebody opens up with Machamp, which I've seen a few times, that's the worst thing that this team's going to see. Like, you don't care too much about a Giratina open. You don't care too much about a Swampert open. You don't care too much about a Registeel open. Like, it almost feels like it is actually a safe lead against the current Go Battle League meta. And I think that lead even stands for today. So Empoleon lead, again, can be really, really powerful given his resistances and his matchups against all the popular leads currently in the Ultra League, Go Battle League meta, and or trends, and or just what I've noticed overall. But yeah, it does have obviously the double fighting weakness team with the Snorlax and the Empoleon. But what I really found special about the team that he put together specifically is the synergy that he found between Crobat and Snorlax, because those two together, like, they cover each other perfectly. He has like double charm resistances. Like, he has the poison on the Crobat with its poison flying typing is going to resist the charm, and then the steel on the Empoleon will resist it as well. So that sets him up for victory. But rather than just, the charm resistances, which in preseason were very popular, people running a lot of charmers, he also has found that you have the fighting resistance. And what I like about Crobat too, I still do like Crobat. I don't think I like it so much currently with how things are. It's kind of still like unsettled, right? But it has like the coverage. It has the Sludge Bomb, so you can hit the fairies for super effective, and it has the Shadow Ball, so you can hit the Giratinas and or the Psychics for super effective. But yeah, again, the reason I'm not so sure about this team right now, especially once you're trying to close into rank 10, is because of because of all that potential sidekick you're going to see, right? And also Poliwrath, which is very, very common now, could be a very, very big weakness of this team. But again, overall at the time, this is the same thing as it was with my team. This team gets 5 out of 5 Bongo Pikachus, and right now, I don't know that right now I'd actually give it 0 Bongo Pikachus, to be honest with you. If anything, right now, I think what I'd give it is 3. Yeah, right now I give it 3 out of 5 Bongo Pikachus. All right, last but not least, this team, absolutely bonkers. This is a team put together by an insanely skilled and very, very talented and very well performing battler by the name of Tactical. Hopefully I said that right. But this was another team in a battle series, I guess, that King had featured on his channel. Go ahead and check it out if you haven't seen it. But look at this: Alolan Muck, Ludicolo, and then Gyarados. This is absolutely crazy. Like, as far as anti-meta teams, a lot of people love the synergy between Alolan Muck and Gyarados, but I've noticed sometimes they will either open with Gyarados or open with their flex pick. Like, rarely do they ever open with Alolan Muck, and Tho does, I guess, in this case. But what's really special is the flex pick, I guess, or the surprise factor that he has with this Ludicolo. Almost nobody expects this, right? And Ludicolo has the Hydro Pump, right? So it's gonna pump a Registeel, it's gonna pump a Swampert. Like, it has coverage basically against everything, and this team can hit really hard as well too. The thing I noticed is potentially, between Ludicolo and Gyarados, he does potentially have the Charm weakness, which is interesting, and I think that's why on his Alolan Muck with his open, he has opted for Sludge Wave rather than running Gunk Shot, which will hit harder, but that's going to give him, easily accessible, super effective poison damage rather than Gunk Shot, which I believe, compared to Sludge Wave, it either takes 1 more Snarl to get to Gunk Shot or 2 more Snarls. I think it's a 1 more compared to Sludge Wave. So, I mean, Sludge Wave is going to be more energy efficient, but Gunk Shot will just, when shields are down and they have a Charmer, it's just the Charmer's history. So running it this way, I guess, is going to be a little more safe, and that makes sense. But he has the coverage with Water, he has the coverage with the Dragon Breath, he has the coverage with Crunch, he has double Hydro Pump on this team, and he has the Dark on this team. This team is nuts. It's crazy. And it has, that double Psychic coverage between the Gyarados and the Alolan Muck, which is amazing. They can both hit the Psychics, and they can hit the Giratinas, and they can also kind of stand a chance against Registeel, which is, again, when we see, some anti-meta teams, a lot of them, for the most part, will have this core of Alolan Muck and Gyarados. But though Tactical, my guy, very, very, very crazy team. Mad respect. Love the video. Again, if you haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out. Absolutely nuts. And that team, of course, Mega Spice with the Ludicolo in Ultra League. 5 out of 5 Bongo Pikachus. No less than that. 5 out of 5. Yeah, Battlers, that is it as far as the teams that, I looked at and I enjoyed and really, made me think and really, I guess, caught my interest, basically. So, and as you can see, this is my current rating in the Go Battle League. Not too bad, I guess. From stream previously, I still have gone down because I think I ended stream around like 28:36 or something like that. But not last night, but the night before, I experienced a lot of lag. Like, so much Go Battle lag. It was actually terrible. It was really, really terrible. And I just, there were a couple games, to be completely honest with you, where I just ended up rage quitting, like I conceded. But that's because you know how it goes. You know how it goes with the lag. I don't need to explain it. So the rating tanked a little bit, unfortunately. And honestly, I was going to consider, dropping Go Battle League entirely for a couple of days until I can see, just keep an eye on Twitter and whatever to see if the lag's been fixed or has mellowed out a little bit. And last night when I played again, it did seem a little more consistent for me. They ran a hot fix, I guess, or they did earlier on the time that this video goes up. I think several hours previous to this video going up, they ran that hot fix. They took GBL down and brought it back up. So I think it's going to be a little better now. We'll just have to see. But I did also kind of adapt my line, and I changed things up to answer some of the other, meta picks and or off anti-meta picks that I'm seeing because of the change that we had previously. So it's performing a lot better. My first 2 sets weren't great. I think they were 3 and 2, so I still plussed off of them. But once I got my line, you know, more, I guess, solidified and figured out, I took 3, was it 2 or 3? I think it was just 2. I think I ended the sets last night on 2 4-in-1s. So it is going to be getting more consistent for me. I'm not going to reveal what my line is yet. I really want to because, you know, maybe it could help you. But that's the thing. I don't want to like run into somebody who watches the video and they know how to counter me. You know what I mean? Like if what I'm doing is actually this good and it gets me to rank 10, absolutely you are going to see the video and I'm going to make a whole upload about it and whatnot. And if, you know, the sooner I get to rank 10, honestly, like the sooner I can just give you all the strategies that I actually use consistently, because I don't want to miss out on rank 10 just because like somebody basically, you know, snipes me by watching an upload. Yeah, that is it for this video, battler. So as always, thank you very, very much for watching. If you did enjoy, please leave a like on the video. It really helps a lot with the growth of the channel. And as always, subscribe if you feel my vibe. Power up, punch the notification bell for all that PvP content. That's it for this video. We'll see you in the next video, battlers. Have a good stinking day.